Yo, what is up, guys? It is Nick, or the Notorious Fantasy, back in today with another fantasy football video. Today's video, I got the Week 12 waiver wire ads. Now, it's almost playoff time, guys. We need to bolster our rosters to make that playoff push, or potentially, if you guys are already in the playoffs, to keep that roster nice and sturdy. Now, before I get in the video, I'd like to give you guys a word from my sponsor, Overlay DFS.com. OverlayDFS.com is my favorite way to play DFS on all of the interwebs. Now, Overlay DFS has a couple of games you can play, but my favorite is the progressive game type. Now, there are entry points at a lot of different levels. As you can see here, there's a $2.5 game, a $22 game, and a $109 game. Now, in these games, the entry, when you win and become in that top 10%, you get 9 times your buy-in. $2.5 turns into $18. $22 turns into $180, and $109 turns into $900. But the specialty comes in here. It's that progressive bonus, and that is $1,038 for the $2.5 game. For the $22 game, it's over $7,000, and for the $109 game, it's over $2,600. And last week, I saw someone hit that beautiful 12-0 to claim that progressive bonus. Now, how it works is very much simple here. All you got to do is you see a bunch of matchups on your screen. You got to make 12 picks plus 3 alternate picks. So right here, Lamar Jackson versus Deshaun Watson. Who do you think will score more fantasy points? They're playing against each other in real life, so I would go with Lamar Jackson. Now, there is also something that I really like to do here that I think is a secret bit of strategy that seems to work a lot for me. So you scroll down here, and you're going to pick a wide receiver to go with your quarterback. So if I wanted to go, if I really believed that it was Deshaun Watson, I would go Deshaun Watson and Mr. D on Dre Hopkins. But you could also go here and put another wide receiver with another quarterback. It is very much that easy, or match your quarterback with your tight end because you think they are both going to perform. So please make sure to check out OverlayDFS.com. They have gotten rid of the way that you can only play just one entry. Now you can do up to 10 entries in these games. So make sure to check out OverlayDFS.com. Link down below in the description. And we are back. Make sure to check out OverlayDFS.com. Link down below in the description. Let's get right into this Week 12 waiver wire ads. My first ad of the week is Darrell Williams, running back of the Kansas City Chiefs. 2.8% ownership on NFL.com. All of these numbers are from NFL.com for the ownership percentage. So obviously, if you guys are in a different website, Sleeper, ESPN, Yahoo, CBS, the numbers are going to be slightly different. Now, LaShawn McCoy got a concussion, and Damian Williams hurt his ribs Week 11 versus the Chargers in Mexico City. So he could be the main back for this week. Darrell Williams being the main back would obviously cater well to him. He will be getting a lot of touches if that is true. Now, obviously, we don't know 100% if they're going to miss or if they will be healthy. So obviously, you got to take a bit of a risk. They're much more of a risk to Darrell Williams. But with that said, he is still going to be great. He's had 2 games this season with 15 plus PPR points scored when the other backs were hurt. So he does look like he could be good if just one of the backs ends up being hurt, whether it's LaShawn McCoy or Damian Williams misses the next game. Now, he's much more of a 1-week rental to me. It seems like both of these guys will be back probably after next week. So obviously, it's just a 1-week thing. But even with that said, it could bode well for Darrell Williams if they're both out, or if Damian Williams misses an extended amount of time with that rib injury. Next guy here is Nyheim Heinz, running back of the Indianapolis Colts. 5% ownership percentage on NFL.com. Now, Marlon Mack will be missing time. He had surgery 2 days ago, so he will be missing a couple of weeks. Now, the Indianapolis Colts have a tough schedule for their defenses are good against the running back position. They're good against the run, but Heinz is the pass-catching back on the team, so he will get a lot of use even if the other backs get more touches. Last week, after Mack exited against the Jacksonville Jaguars, he had 3 rushes for 11 yards and a touchdown, plus 3 receptions on 4 targets for 24 yards, 12.5 PPR points. So I really do think that if the other back, if it is just Nyheim Heinz and Jonathan Williams, if the other back misses, then Nyheim Heinz could be in for a big game next week. And I do like him for the future, given he does get that work in that pass catching game like he has been getting all season. Next guy here is the other running back for the Indianapolis Colts. That is Jonathan Williams, running back of the Indianapolis Colts. 0.1% ownership on NFL.com. So he's obviously available in pretty much every single league. The only person who owns Jonathan Williams is Jonathan Williams' fucking cousins or something. If Jordan Wilkins, I should say, misses Thursday Night Football against the Texans, Williams should be the head back on the team. Even if he won't be getting too many pass catching opportunities, he will see a lot of touches because the Indianapolis Colts love to run the damn ball. Week 11, after Mack was hurt, he played great. Both Mack and Williams finished with over 100 yards in this game. Jacksonville Jaguars, which is the first time a team has done that in forever, at least the Colts, against the Jacksonville Jaguars, 13 touches for 116 yards and 1 receptions on 1 target for 31 yards, 15.7 PPR points. So he put up a big game. Now, he is a bit risky because the risk is really the fact that he is playing and is having to deal against these tougher defenses, and the fact that Jordan Wilkins may end up showing up to that game and may end up absolutely skull fucking Jonathan Williams right in the ass. So obviously there is some risk, but I'm willing to take the risk right now. Obviously, I think I would put my number one waiver priority on the back I talked about before this, but with that said, I like Jonathan Williams maybe as more of a long-term option if Mack misses a lot of time. Darius Guice is the next back here to talk about, running back of the Washington Redskins, 34.8% ownership on NFL.com. Now, he outsnapped AP against the Jets last week, week 11, 20-17, so obviously the Redskins are liking to give Darius Guice the touches that he would need to succeed. Obviously, I'd like to see him get more than 20 snaps on the offense, but that team is terrible. Like I said, the Redskins are bad, so this does worry me. Week 1, before he got hurt against the Philadelphia Eagles, he got 10 touches for 18 yards, 3 receptions on 3 targets for 20 yards, and 6.8 PPR points. So that's a pretty okay game for ending up having gotten hurt. And then week 11, in his triumphant return against the New York Football Jets, 7 touches for 26 yards and 1 reception on 2 targets for 45 yards and a tutty for 13.9 PPR points. So as long as Darius Guice continues to get more usage than Adrian Peterson, as long as he gets to get more usage than 20 snaps on offense, I really think Darius Guice will be a piece that you can use now and in the future. Now onto Bo Scarborough, running back of the Detroit Lions, 0.1% ownership on NFL.com. So just like with that other back I was talking about, Bo Scarborough, the only fucking person who owns him is his fucking mother, his father, his brother, someone in the goddamn family, and maybe his extended family to get him at 0.1% ownership on NFL.com. Now, before I talk about Bo Scarborough, please make sure to click that subscribe button down below if you have enjoyed thus far. He shined against the Dallas Cowboys week 11. 14 touches for 55 yards and 1 tutty for 11.5 PPR points. So obviously he shined and played quite well in that game, even though he is in a committee. Bo Scarborough, 32 touches. Ty Johnson, 19 touches. And J.D. McKissick, 15 touches. So he could be the lead back on that team, but it's definitely a scary situation he's entering with so many backs on that team. A 3-headed backfield does not bode well for fantasy football unless Bo Scarborough keeps getting more touches and more snaps. Actually, I lied. 32 touches is 32 snaps, 19 snaps, and 15 snaps for J.D. McKissick. That's snaps, not touches. Sorry about that. Jalen Samuels, running back of the Pittsburgh Steelers, is the next back to talk about here. 56.1% owned on NFL.com. Now, James Conner's Week 12 availability is just about as up in the air as possible against the Bengals. Now, to me, he is not going to play. Last week, he exited that game against the Browns before Myles Garrett smashed the skull of Mason Rudolph in. I think that, in my opinion, James Conner will be out of this matchup against the Cincinnati Bengals. So that's obviously going to bode well for Mr. Jalen Samuels. Now, will he be the head honcho, the head back if Conner misses time, and was when Conner missed time in the past? Now, week 9 against the Indianapolis Colts with Conner out, 8 touches for 10 yards, plus 13 receptions on 13 targets for 73 yards and 1 fumble, 19.3 PPR points. Week 10 against the L.A. Rams, obviously a better defense than the Colts. 14 touches for 29 yards and 3 receptions on 11 targets, 7 PPR points. He is getting a lot of targets, if you've noticed, 13, then 11. And then week 11 in relief of James Conner against the Cleveland Browns. 5 touches for 26 yards and 5 receptions on 6 targets, plus a tutty, 15.5 PPR points. Now, to me, Jalen Samuels is much more of a PPR back. Like I said, he's getting a lot of targets thrown his way. 13, 11, and then 6. So that obviously bodes well for PPR. But I think he's still fine in standard. He's obviously just much better PPR back. Now onto the wideouts in the video. My first wideout, my favorite wideout to pick up this week is Devante Parker, wideout of the Miami Dolphins, 39% ownership on NFL.com. Now he's been very consistent all season, averaging 12.4 PPR points, but he's been playing a lot better with his main man, Ryan Fitzpatrick. He was playing a bit worse with Josh Rosen. Now his stats are pretty good. Week 4 against the LA Superchargers, 4 for 4, like at Wendy's, for 70 yards and 1 touchdown, 17 PPR points. Week 6 against the Washington Redskins, 3 of 4 for 28 yards and 1 touchdown, 11.8 PPR points. Week 7 against the Buffalo Bills, 5 of 10 for 55 yards and 1 touchdown, 16.5 PPR points. Week 8 against the Pittsburgh Steelers, 7 of 8 for 59 yards, 11.9 PPR points. Week 9 against the New York Football Jets, 5 of 6 for 57 yards and 1 touchdown, 15.7 PPR points. Week 10 against the Indianapolis Colts, 5 of 10 for 69 yards, nice, 11.9 PPR points. Week 11 against Buffalo, he seems to bode well and play fucking well against the Buffalo Bills, 7 of 10 for 135 yards and 20.5 PPR points. So Devante Parker's obviously been consistent. He's obviously been balling out. He's been scoring touchdowns. If you can see, 1, 2, 3, 4 games with the touchdown out of those 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 games. So he has been playing pretty well, and he has been able to find the end zone about half the time in those games. So that's obviously great for his fantasy value. Now on to the next wideout, Deebo Samuel, wide receiver of the San Francisco 49ers, 20.5% ownership on NFL.com. Now he did end up getting banged up. He hurt his arm, but just like Greg Jennings in that old Madden video, he doesn't give a fuck. He broke his arm or did whatever to his arm, and he doesn't give a fuck, and he came back in the game and played well. I'm slightly worried about him now. When Kittle returns and when Emmanuel Sanders is at full strength, that obviously does worry me for Deebo Samuel's usage, but Kittle could still miss time, and Emmanuel Sanders may still be a bit banged up, so Deebo Samuel should be able to eat, and he does have a decent schedule coming up. Now, his last 2 games have been great. Week 10 against the Seattle Seahawks, 8 receptions on 11 targets for 112 yards, 19.2 PPR points. Week 11 against the Arizona Cardinals, a not-so-great defense, 8 receptions on 10 targets for 134 yards, 21.4 PPR points. So we're seeing without Kittle, 10-plus targets in both games, 11 and 10, so that is great for his fantasy football value. Now, there's a decent schedule coming up, like I said. Week 12 against the Green Bay Packers, Week 13 against the Baltimore Ravens, I should say, not the fucking Rams. Week 14 against the New Orleans Saints. Week 15 against the Atlanta Falcons that seem to be rejuvenated and actually looking like a good defense. At Week 16, your fantasy football championship against the LA Rams. Obviously, he's not going to be getting covered or shadowed by Mr. Jalen Ramsey due to the fact that would be Emmanuel Sanders, who he would be shadowing and shutting down. Now, the next wideout here is Darius Slayton, wide receiver of the New York Football Giants. 8.2% ownership on NFL.com. Now, if Sterling Shepard is out, he could ball out again. Sterling Shepard has been in the concussion protocol. They seem like he's going to be good. Then he's out. He's in. He's out. He's up and he's down. You never fucking know with Sterling Shepard. So if Sterling Shepard is out, obviously you're taking the risk that Sterling Shepard is missing the time. You got to hope that that's what happens if you want to start Darius Slayton. He's had 4 games this season of over 10 points in the PPR format, which obviously is pretty good for being someone that a lot of people don't even know who he is. In the last game, Week 10 against the Jets, he performed amazing. Now they had a bye Week 11. Week 10 against the New York Football Jets, 10 receptions on 14 targets for 2 tutties and 34.1 PPR points. You heard that correctly. Darius Slayton scored 34.1 PPR points. Now, obviously, you can't expect that for every game. He's only had 4 games over 10 points, but obviously, he's only played like 10 games. Let's say, no, he's played less than that. He's played about like 6 or 7 games this season because the first 3 games he just never suited up, and due to injuries, he has been balling out. If Sterling Shepard is out, I really do like him this week. Let's go, Darius Slayton. Now, onto the final wideout of the video. There's tight ends after this. Josh Gordon, wideout of the Seattle Seahawks, traded from the New England Patriots. 44.2% ownership on NFL.com. So if you guys have enjoyed this video thus far and have not clicked that subscribe button already, please make sure to do that. You don't want to be missing out on any of the videos and the live streams that I do. If Lockett misses time, he could be a great start. Now, Lockett looked like he fucking died before the bye week against the San Francisco 49ers. He wasn't moving. He was looking all pissed off on the bench. And now they're saying that he may be able to fucking play. In my opinion, Lockett is probably going to miss the game. But against the San Francisco 49ers on limited snaps, Josh Gordon played pretty well for 2 receptions on 2 targets for 27 yards, 4.7 PPR points. Now, obviously, that's not something to write home about. That's not something that you can fucking put your mortgage down on and Josh Gordon performs. But if Lockett is gone, he will be the wide receiver 1 or 2 on the team, depending on if Wilson likes Metcalf or Gordon more. He probably will throw more to Metcalf. But even then, Josh Gordon should be able to perform. Obviously, in my opinion, when Lockett is in, I hate Josh Gordon. I don't think he can perform. I think you're going to be starting him. It's going to be like 3 points, 4 points, 5 points. Then randomly, he's going to score you 30 points on your bench when you finally decide to bench him because you realized how bad of a decision you have made starting Josh Gordon. So if Lockett misses time, I like Josh Gordon. If Lockett is good to go for the next couple of weeks, then fuck Josh Gordon. Now onto the tight end portion of the video. The first tight end to talk about here is Jacob Hollister, teammate of Josh Gordon, Seattle Seahawks, 9.7% ownership on NFL.com. Jacob Hollister has stepped up in a big way after Will Dissly got hurt. Obviously, Jacob Hollister is the other tight end on the team, and he has stepped up big. His last 2 weeks have looked amazing. Week 9 against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, you're going to be fired off the cannons in that game. 4 receptions on 6 targets for 37 yards and 2 tutties, 19.7 PPR points. Week 10 against the San Francisco 49ers in that amazing Monday Night Football game or Thursday Night Football game. I don't remember exactly or recall which one it was. 8 receptions on 10 targets for 62 yards and 1 touchdown, 20.2 PPR points. Last week, he was on the bye week, obviously scored no fucking points, but he is going to be great. All right. Russell Wilson loves targeting the tight end. We saw early in the season, it was Will Dissly. We're seeing now that it is Jacob Hollister, and I believe that Jacob Hollister is on pace to play great the next couple of weeks and be a top 10 tight end in all of those games. You got to put belief in Russell Wilson, and when Russell Wilson throws the ball to Jacob Hollister, it seems to look like it could be a touchdown on every single play. He loves Jacob Hollister in the red zone and in that end zone. Now, the final pickup of the video is Ryan Griffin, tight end of the New York Football Jets, 1.1% ownership on NFL.com. Now, Chris Herndon is on the IR. Chris Herndon, that motherfucker had us all fooled. It seemed like he had that 5-game suspension or whatever. He's going to come back, right? And then it's like week 7, and he's still not fucking back. And then it's week 8, it's week 9, it's week 10. He's still not back, and then out of nowhere, they throw his ass on the IR. It seems like he's going to be all good to go. It seems like he's going to play in a game, and then he doesn't play in the game. They shut his ass down for the whole season. We have been bamboozled by Chris Herndon and led astray. But that does not matter because Griffin has had to step up in a big way, and he has been playing well. Not as good as Hollister, but he has been playing well. In the last 4 games with Sammy Mono. Week 8 against the Jacksonville Jaguars, 4 for 4, like at Wendy's, for 66 yards and 2 tutties, 24.6 PPR points. Week 9 against the Miami Dolphins, 6 of 8 for 50 yards and 11 PPR points. A pretty good game as well. Week 10 against the New York Jets, 1 of 1 for negative 2 yards, 0.8 PPR points. And in standard, he fucking lost you points. So obviously, he shit the bed big time there, and he needed those huggies, but it is okay because week 11 against the Washington Redskins, he came back, he was beating the drum, and he said, fuck you, Washington. 5 of 5 for 109 yards and 1 touchdown, 21.9 PPR points. So Ryan Griffin looks like a world beater at the tight end position. The Jets' schedule is pretty soft, and Ryan Griffin may look to ball out the next couple of games. So thank you guys all for watching this video. If at any point you ended up enjoying this video, you enjoyed the content, you enjoyed maybe some of the humor I try to bring in the video, please make sure to click that subscribe button. I love each and every single one of you guys. Thank you guys so much for 3,000 subscribers. It genuinely means the world to me. I love all of you guys. Whether you guys like the content, whether you're pissed off at me for losing you a game or something, it's okay. I love you all. Thank you guys so much. Make sure to check out overlaydfs.com. I love each and every single one of you guys. Never forget that. Have a nice day. Goodbye, my friends.